On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. You gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray De Niro, and we are back at it again with another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. We're pushing through. We're pushing through for this one because I missed last week, and I'm trying not to miss 2 weeks in a row, especially with everything that we've got going on in the markets. It is. I mean, what can I say? We're above 70. Like, let's give a round of applause for that. It's like we are above 70. Like, remember, it was over. We were going to 35. Now we're above 70, and apparently, it is both a bull and a bear flag. Because the tea leaves for the technical analysis people, you know, I'm gonna give my little synopsis on what I'm seeing going on from my perspective, which I honestly don't care about the tea leaves. I really don't. I just buy, and when it's low, I buy more. I'm fully invested, so all I have to do is buy. And I don't really know if I can stress that enough. It's like, yeah, when my paycheck comes in, 90% of it goes into investing. Most of it being, the lion's share of it being in the income generation because we are trying to not have to go to work. But up to 40%, 30, 40%. I'm willing to go up to 50% depending on how low it goes. Like, I've still got two more tiers. We dipped below 70. We were at 30% of my income going into Bitcoin, accelerated Bitcoin exposure. Now, were we buying spot Bitcoin? A little bit. But we started pivoting because we were so low that it was just like, well, like we might as well, if we're going to be low, let's get as much juice out of this engine as possible because I can always convert that over. The other thing that I've been doing that has been very pivotal is like we're getting ready to make some big moves. And we're about to, I'd say at worst the 24th. We're getting ready to do our last debt cycle, and the way that we're going to do it, we're about to get some stuff accomplished. We're already making some headway on our long-term holdings portfolio. We have unlocked margin on that now that we are above $2,000 because you have to have $2,000 in any brokerage account to touch the margin to be able to pull any cash out. And at that point, they'll give you 10% in cash. So, you know, we've got about $200, 200 hot dollars that we can get at, which I'm not touching right now. I don't need it at this moment, but it has incentivized me to go ahead and, keep my portfolios separate. So long-term holdings going to be long-term holdings. I'm not going to commingle those because we're about to have a cash infusion along with this last debt cycle. We're about to buy some more Bitcoin along with this last debt cycle. And I'm excited about it. And coincidentally, markets turned this week. You know, we were doom and gloom and I was just buying and gritting my teeth. And voila, a few weeks later, we're no longer gritting teeth. We're beating our chest a little bit. People are telling us to not get cocky, not get too excited. And I'm not, because I'm buying anyway. We're buying a little bit less on the Bitcoin, a little bit more on the income side, which is much needed because the income has shifted. It's like the market starts going up. Next thing you know, you go through this little flux of weird income, but we're leveling. We're righting that ship as well. We're still staying within the thesis that we've got, which for those that don't know, it's AI and Bitcoin. I've added that, and that's my diversification is AI and Bitcoin. And we're actually about to do some more consolidation in the portfolio. I'm like pretty keen on it consolidating, especially when it comes to the diversification stuff. I'm like, if it's not going to be focused, I don't necessarily want it, to be honest. And we about to get real focused again now that we're in this upper echelon, because now I'm in a position to where I can manage these positions and I will buy those dips and I'm fine about it. So before we go ahead and get into the nit grit of this, because we're going to do the portfolio update and then what we're doing with these episodes moving forward is I will give a breakdown on the current market, give a little technical analysis gloss over. I'm not a TA guy, and I'm not going to pull up charts because I don't have them. I don't know how, I'm just going to give my little synopsis based on what we've got going on in the market with the data that's available for what's going on right now, current window that we're in, and a few things that we should maybe be looking at that hopefully you guys find some value in. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and bring shout outs to CoinGecko, bring them to the screen, micro machine myself, because this isn't about me. This is about the content. And this is the content. We love CoinGecko. I track my portfolios on CoinGecko. It's a great place. And they give us something to talk about every week for the pre-show. As it sits today, as of this recording, Bitcoin is sitting at $73,792.45. Ethereum is sitting at $2,314.22. Now, moving to Bitcoin dominance, which is at 56.7%, with Ethereum following up behind that at 10.7%. Gas fees at 0.055 Gwei. I noticed I did some moving around. I got next week's episode. I will have some stuff rolling out. We're going to talk about some opportunities that are crypto adjacent, crypto influenced, that I will have implemented. We're doing the implementation over this week, making some moves, but I did some transacting on Ethereum, and let me tell you, boy, was I not complaining about the low transaction fees. We're going to actually, we're going to go ahead and give Ethereum a round of applause for the low transaction fees. Also, if you have not yet, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I mean, I'm not missing the bag talks, guys. You got to give me a little bit of grace here. Like the bag talks, I'm working for you. I'm getting them more concise. The crypto portfolio updates, those are going to be skippable. And, if the week's busy, I'm just not going to be able to do it. Like this week, this is a weird day. I did not get any sleep last night. I'm coming off of a staycation, so I could work on some personal stuff, namely finances and my home. But I'm notoriously a horrible sleeper before I go back to work the first day back, and I had 5 days off. And so, we did a little bit of content, but like my house required a lot of attention, and my financial situation required a lot of attention. Like there was some stuff that I had to get over the line, and I am a financial procrastinator when it comes to writing these checks and moving big amounts of money. That is like something that I will put off until I can't put it off anymore. And then I always get nervous when I write it, because writing a big check to yourself, obviously, all the fraud alerts. So after we got through all that, now I'm just waiting for the money to hit the account. And I'm sitting here chomping at the bit, because I'm like, yo, I got places. That money has jobs to do. And it's messing with my flow a little bit. I'm okay with it, but it is messing with my flow a little bit. So what we're doing is, actually, there's going to be a strategic move because it messed with my flow that I get to do a piece of content on. So definitely catch the next couple of weeks bag talks. It's going to be really good. Anyways, my work weeks get really crammed busy. And normally my recording days end up on my days off, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And depending on if I have social activities, because I do go outside and touch grass, stuff just gets pushed and jumbled. And the bag talk is a priority, because I think the full encompassing scope of what I've got going on and what I'm doing is more important to most of you, most of my followers, most of the people who are subscribed, they're rocking out with me, than this show specifically. So since this show gets less views than my bag talk show, if something's got to go, it's going to be this gets sacrificed. So I am sorry, but what I am going to do is make these more value packed moving forward. So we're going to go over the TA. We're going to start talking about numbers, where you should be looking, where you should be loading up the boat. Now, those of you who know me, this is never going to change, and it'll get said multiple times this episode. I dollar cost average because I am fully invested, obviously, because all my money gets invested first. I'm buying regardless. If the market's up, I have to put the money somewhere because I can't let it sit in cash, because that would be dumb. And it'll probably get to a point, because I don't do well during bull markets, to where I won't know what to do with the money. And most likely what you're going to see is me buy a whole bunch of STRC because I don't know what to do with the money, and let that just compound, and a whole bunch of Bitcoin because I don't know what to do with the money. And I'll buy Bitcoin tops until the cows come home, because we're buying collateral. And now that I can leverage it, it just helps my leverage pool. Buying STRC just helps my leverage pool, and I get a little bit of income. It's just going to be what it is. So you guys will get to see me go through that existential crisis, because I don't do well when numbers go up. Like, I'm really good at gritting my teeth when everyone's telling me it's going to 35,000 and you guys are all selling your positions, because I like taking them. I feel like I'm winning at that point. Upside, not so much, because it's like we're all winning together, which is great, because I want you guys to make money too. But like I like taking the money from the people that quit, that don't believe. I like the short term. I like taking the short termers Bitcoin and never selling them back. It makes me feel good. They don't get to have that. They'll get down in the future, and then they're going to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin, I dabbled in that. I traded that. And I'll be like, yeah, I still have it. I have like 3. Like, what are you doing? $1 million a coin. Good job trading it at 70K. Happy you made that couple of $100. What'd you buy? Oh, your house that's depreciating and falling apart? Congratulations. Congratulations. I'll compare balance sheets with you any day of the week. Any one of them. So as we're moving forward, we're going to talk about the top 3 trending coins, because I like knowing what you guys are looking up. It lets me know where you're sitting. And I'm liking this list. So at number 1, we have verified emeralds. The name says a lot. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Number 2, you guys have Bitcoin. Thank you. Thank you guys for trying to figure out what's going on as the number goes up. I'm at least happy that you're trying. It really makes me feel good that like you guys see the number go up after some idiot on X told you that it's going to 35, because we're getting tricked constantly, even though all these institutions are buying your positions. You're not even selling it to other people. You're selling it to them. And then you'll complain about being in indefinite servitude. But like they said, you'll own nothing and love it. And you're going to love it because financially, and this is financially specifically, because I know a lot of you are educated and went to college and you have a piece of paper, and that piece of paper means so much. And I didn't do that. And I don't have that piece of paper. So I can't even say that I'm smart. I'm undereducated. I'm an undereducated blue collar worker who happens to be worth more than you, who happens to not have to beg Biden to forgive my loans, who can pay my debt off myself and actually utilizes my debt as a tool to continue to keep distance between me and you. But I digress. Financially, you're stupid. Just financially. Like, it's just, that's why you would sell your Bitcoin to BlackRock, to Strategy, who's telling you that they're never going to sell it back, that are going to wrap it into products so that they can middleman you and collect fees and money off you, because there's going to be no Bitcoin for you to buy at some point. And you're sitting here talking about like the couple of $100 you made this week because you traded Bitcoin to get a couple of $100 that are deflationary. And you're not even saving the couple of $100. So you're going to have nothing to show for it. I've seen the stuff you guys buy. You're going to buy a Lamborghini that you're not going to be able to fix. Then you're going to end up having to live in it. Then you're going to be crying in it when the price goes down. Like I've seen this all before. Because financially, up here, that piece of paper just doesn't give you common sense. I don't know. I got extra helpings of common sense. I got extra helpings of basic financial math. I got extra helpings of looking around and seeing what people who actually have money that aren't on YouTube, that aren't online, telling you that you need a Bugatti, that are telling you constantly you're broke. I don't have to tell you you're broke. I'm telling you that you're broke out of the kindness of my heart, because we got two different outcomes, and I see you complaining online all the time because you don't have money and everything's expensive, and now you can't afford to eat because you're hand to mouth, even though you make more money than me. And we're making two totally different choices, and we're living in two totally different worlds, because mine's getting better. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I got 16 months left. You get to keep going for like another, what, 20, 30 years? Gonna work till you're 70, till your body falls apart? Cool. So Bitcoin's at number 2. Number 3, we have Pudgy Penguins, because when the numbers go up, you guys start getting degenerate. And I get it. I get it. But it would probably be better if you didn't. I don't know. This is going to be my first, and I don't even know if it's bull run, because the bull run was last year. We peaked out at 126. It was terrible. It was a garbage bull run. But you know what's great about a garbage bull run? The dump is also garbage. So maybe we're in some sort of different window, because we have so much buy pressure now, because there's somebody on the other side of those buys, and they're picking on how low they're going to let you capitulate. Saylor said it himself. He can buy more than you can sell. And his system's working through this dip. We'll see. Seems to be working now. It's buying a lot of Bitcoin, not selling Bitcoin, just buying Bitcoin. And everyone keeps saying he's going to have to sell, but he doesn't. And then he keeps buying. So, there's that. You also have MicroStrategy, Metaplanet, 21 Capital, Strive, also buying. So, we'll see what it is. Moving on to our top 5 gainers and losers for the day. Now, for this big of a pump, the thing that I'm noticing is we're not getting 10% Bitcoin days anymore. That's one of the things I'm noticing. But the pumps are not going as high, and the drops aren't as low. They're getting less violent. They're getting more stabilized. They're getting more like what you would see in a traditional finance asset. Bitcoin's growing up, and therefore, since everything's tied to Bitcoin, your altcoins are growing up as well. So let's take a look here and see where we're at. At number 1, we always start off with the top gainers, and I hope you guys get to bask in the glory of being on the top 5 gainers list, having a coin and a position that you're in on this list, so that you can bask in that glory. It feels good. You get your dopamine rush. You get vindicated. I was right. One thing I'll tell you is, if you are above 100%, I would set some of that to the side and something that you're actually long on, especially if it's one of these nondescript positions that nobody knows about, because you probably shouldn't be emotionally tied to your investments, but also you should probably want to have something to show for it, because the good crypto market giveth, and the good crypto market taketh away. Let's jump into it. At number 1, we have it ranked 97. Siren, with a gain of 45.9% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, we have at rank 388, Strategic Oil Supply, with a gain of 33.6%. At number 3, we have at rank 410, Anchor Network, with a gain of 30.8%. At number 4, we have at rank 345, Bitway, with a gain of 23.1%. And last but not least, at rank 262, we have Xano, with a gain of 17%, even in the last 24 hours. That's rounding out our top 5 gainers list. I hope you guys are basking in the glory. Some of you have won. Someone has won. I want someone to win, even if I'm not on this list right now. Moving on to our top 5 losers in the last 24 hours. There's only 2 reasons that I want you on this list. It needs to be one of the following. Reason number 1, you are actively dollar cost averaging like I do, like we do over here in the Wolfpack. And this is giving you an opportunity to get a few extra tokens, maybe throw a little bit extra into your dollar cost average for this period because you have conviction in the project. And nothing has fundamentally changed with the project, because if something's fundamentally changed and you're jumping off a cliff, that's time to cut bait. And hopefully you cut bait before the last sucker in line cuts bait. Otherwise, you're going to be left holding the bag and hoping that like you're not rug pulled, or the project gets their whatever together and comes back, and like maybe you're then praying to break even, or you have lost money, or money has disappeared, and it's no fun. That's what I hope for you. Reason number 2, you're looking at a project and for whatever reason it has dipped. You check the fundamentals. The fundamentals haven't changed. There's nothing catastrophically going on with the team or the project itself. And this is offering you an opportunity to jump off the porch, take action, and get in the game. Those are only 2 reasons I want you guys on this list. But I digress. Here we go. At number 1, we have at rank 233, Pippin, with a loss of 36% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, we have at rank 529, Anvil, with a loss of 28.3% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 746, Verified Emeralds, with a loss of 23.8% in the last 24 hours. At number 4, at rank 600, Collect on Fanable, with a loss of 21.7% in the last 24 hours. And last but not least, rounded out the list at rank 386, we have Fabric Protocol with a loss of 21.2% in the last 24 hours. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this up because it's just going to be me talking to close this part of the episode out. But we're going to talk about Bitcoin. The first thing we want to talk about is why Bitcoin is ripping. And that is because new Wall Street money is flooding in at the same time the street level supply is drying up, all on top of a fixed post-halving cap that isn't changing for anybody. There's just not enough Bitcoin to go around. If Saylor's buying and he's telling you on X that he can buy more than you can sell, and he's going to buy everything that you sell, BlackRock is also buying everything that you sell. Metaplanet is also trying to get some of those Bitcoin. I am personally trying to get some of those Bitcoin. And Bitcoiners who have been here, the OGs that aren't selling, that are now leveraging, Bitcoin has become a collateral asset for us. We don't have to sell. What's awesome is we can buy Bitcoin and during the dips, borrow against it and then watch it run up and then pay it back at our discretion at lower than credit card rates. So we're buying Bitcoin. Strive is buying Bitcoin. 21 Capital hopefully is buying some Bitcoin in the background. There's other Bitcoin treasuries. Those are the ones that I'm personally involved with, that I'm holding currently. They're all buying. They're buying your Bitcoin. When you sell and you go get your $200 and think you did something because now you have $200. Again, I don't just buy Bitcoin, I am selling fiat. And now I am more incentivized to sell fiat because Bitcoin is a collateral base for me. I'm ready to build and deploy my flywheel so I can do exactly what MicroStrategy is doing. That way, when there's dips, I can utilize it for that. I'll also be able to utilize it to pay this consumer debt down faster. Now, that is a priority for me for this year. It's been kind of a slow burn to get to this point. But now that we've got the ship righted on the finance side, we've got our margin pool growing on the finance side, we are now in position to where once we get the Bitcoin in position to start using it as a collateral asset, I'll also be able to get good chunks of my debt paid off utilizing that. Another thing that's interesting about collateralizing your Bitcoin, the same as collateralizing your brokerage account, it removes it from credit reporting. So as I'm moving this into lower interest debt tools that I'm able to pay back because of the income flow that we're generating, it's also my credit's going to start climbing again. Because like right now it's getting beat on. The month of March, going to be questionable. We'll be interested to see what that looks like with the numbers after the fact. But like as it sits, we're getting beat on. It just is what it is. But again, scarce assets are scarce assets. So the price we're sitting at right now, we're in the low to mid 70s. Obviously 73, that's not too bad. Saw it at 75. We touched 76. It was like 75,987 or something like that. Just touched it and bounced off of it. The next thing that we got to look at as far as what affects the price is the ETFs. The US spot Bitcoin ETFs have pulled tens of billions in net inflows since launch, with around 56 billion net added mid-March of this year. 56 billion. That's a lot of Bitcoin they got to buy, huh? Recent weeks have seen multi-$100 million net inflow days, including roughly $934 million in a single stretch and $160 million on one Monday alone. That's opening a business Monday. $167 million. That money's coming from somewhere. And that's something important to dial in on. It's rotating out of gold ETFs into Bitcoin products, which means institutions are literally swapping gold bars for digital Bitcoins. Wrap your head around that. That's what institutions are doing. Again, when it goes back to like, hey, financially, a lot of you are stupid. You're uneducated. What the stuff that you say about me because I don't have that piece of paper because I didn't go to college. You're too smart to just look at what people with money are doing. I understand I look like a complete kook in 2014, 2013, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. I'll even give you 2020, 2021, and 2022. Cool. Write that off. It's not just me anymore. It's not just me with my MetaMask hoodie on doing this. This is billions of dollars. Institutions, where you go to bank, they're buying Bitcoin. What, are you too good to buy Bitcoin while it's like still possible for you to get some Satoshis? You don't have to buy a whole one. You can get fractions of a Bitcoin. You don't have any Bitcoin. I'm just saying, times are changing. Finance is evolving. This is a wealth transfer, and you can either take part or you can have fun staying poor. But don't complain, because I've been screaming about it. Everybody apparently knows everything except for how to not be in debt or how to pay their debt off themselves. So what I need y'all to do is just look at what the people who have money that you guys say are taking everything from you, and understand that Bitcoin is a balanced market. You can get into the game. You can get some wealth. You can get some money and set it aside. I mean, that also requires the ability to be financially disciplined and set some money aside. But like, come on, man. Goodness gracious. So the next thing we got to talk about are the supply squeeze mechanics. The April 2024, the 2024 halving cut the new issuance from 6.25 Bitcoin per block to 3.125 Bitcoin per block. That cut the miner new coin supply in half. And most of these institutions are buying more than what's being produced every day, which means that they've bought all the Bitcoin that the miners made and produced. And then they have to go to the over-the-counter market because that's the next step before getting to retail. And then they have to take all the Bitcoin that we're trying to buy. The exchanges have fallen back towards 2019 levels, so there are fewer coins sitting on exchanges ready to be dumped on short notice. There's no one to sell. This is not a company, your favorite stock, where if all the stock gets bought up, they just issue more stock. There's no way to issue more Bitcoin. It doesn't exist. And unlike your gold ETFs, which are supposed to be scarce, they never have a supply shock for your gold ETFs. I've never gone into the gold store and not seen gold that you could buy. Costco always has gold you can buy. So, you know, if there's not enough to go around and people want it and people got a lot of money, then they just raise the price up until they find somebody who's willing to sell, which there are people who are willing to sell. But like, as far as readily available, just sitting around, people have understood you have coins on an exchange. That's not your crypto. Probably not a good place to put the lion's share of your wealth. Just is what it is. When you combine this with the ETF buying, this creates a structural squeeze. Less new coins coming in, more coins getting locked away in long-term ETF vaults, more people buying. Not enough to buy. Squeeze. Now, for us, this is for the Wolfpack specifically. We run on a mindset based around a Bitcoin standard. Do I just have Bitcoin and Bitcoin products? No, I don't, because I can't afford to yet. But we're getting there. Does that not mean that my base layer is the Bitcoin standard and Bitcoin products? It is. That's what I save in. All of my money is in Bitcoin. Everything that's not active is in Bitcoin. I'm actively building an active Bitcoin position to accumulate more Bitcoin. Like, my goal this year is to get another 0.25 active in the market. And that's going to be my pool. And I will build that out as another running machine. And then at the end of probably at the end of every quarter, I'll trade out. I'll go ahead and send whatever we've made into cold storage at minimum every year. Building that reserve, because at the end of the day, that cold storage is the be all end all for me. That is my retirement. So structurally, you've got a shrinking flow of new coins, large and sticky ETF and institutional demand. Sticky meaning they're not selling, they're buying and not selling, just like me. And some gold style capital rotation, which means they're moving out of gold into Bitcoin. So you're getting a little bit of that gold money because Bitcoin performs better. It doesn't perform in small windows of time. It doesn't. But over the last 15 years since it's existed, it has blown gold out of the water. Total return. There's no one in gold right now that's made more than me buying in 2013, actually mining in 2013. And then buying in 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Like, it's just not. You haven't beat those numbers. You beat me this year. You beat me last year. Maybe. I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look at what the dust settled on that, but okay. I'm not holding gold for 2 years. Also, I can leverage my Bitcoin. Most of you who are holding stocks and all these gold bugs, you guys sell in and out of it paying taxes over and over and over again thinking you're doing something. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. Also, if I wanted to, I could actually buy stuff with the Bitcoin. No one accepts gold. There's no gold price at the store, period. There's not an app to let you sell gold to someone in a transaction. You cannot buy these headphones with gold from me because honestly, I don't know how much the gold would weigh. How much gold are you going to have to shave off to get it? I don't know, nor do I want it because then I'd be responsible for going and turning it into something that I could actually spend. So you can't buy stuff with gold. It's no longer an actual medium of exchange beyond it being in the market and people wanting to make gold necklaces and stuff out of it. It's novelty. It's dated. It's old. It needs to be used for semiconductors and car audio components so that they can be amazing. It's just not, it's not a good money. It's just not anymore. It's too easy to steal. No one can, I don't know how to price anything in gold. Like I can easily find out how many Satoshis I need to give someone to buy something from them. And I can do it with my phone. And if things go bad and I've got to go leave the country and be a refugee, I just need to keep like 12 words in some medium or fashion, and people don't steal paper, nor do they look for it. So I can just go take all my wealth and just leave. Like you can take the house, shut down my brokerage. Doesn't matter as long as I've stashed away enough Bitcoin to get up out of here. Get a new phone, re-up my wallets. I'm rich again. Great. Easy peasy. Things that we've got to keep in mind. Cyclically, we are below the October 2025 all-time high of around 126K. We are below that. But according to everybody, we were supposed to be going to 35, 50, 40, 20. There's some people that are on X saying that we're supposed to go to 10. Like, just complete debauchery because anyone can say anything. They pull up a chart and you think they're a genius, which is fine. 126 was a horrible bull run. Facts in comparison to the other three that I went through. So I've been through three. But that was to be expected as the asset matures, which means the ups are lower, the downs are also not as bad. Compared to those of us who were in some of the major crazy Wild West bull runs, it's a different game we're playing. So the fall off, we fell down to 60. Okay. I'm not complaining about 60. I can deal with 60. Great. I'll take it. Considering now we get to ramp up, so like we get to go past 126, probably not going to be as high, and then we're going to fall back down, and then we'll be complaining, and people will be talking about we're going back to 50,000, and we're going to drop down to like maybe 70, and we go to like 150, maybe 200. Drop back down to 70 or 80,000, and then we'll be complaining about that. We'll be complaining that it's over. Because cyclically, with institutions buying as much as they are, they also sell off. They have to secure their profits for their shareholders. There's other things, which obviously that's good because that gives us opportunities to where we know we're going to be getting some Bitcoin because they're going to sell. MicroStrategy won't sell. BlackRock's definitely going to sell. They don't care. They own everything. They're like, we'll get it back later. We know people. They're dumb. Financially, you're stupid. So since you're financially stupid, illiterate, whatever you want to call it, you will sell. And they'll just buy it back then. Get it back into the portfolio. And the price goes up and they'd be like, hey, we made all this money because they are not on a Bitcoin standard like the rest of us. They are still propping up and believing in the fiat system. Again, I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm selling and getting rid of dollars. All dollars must be working. I don't want them. My bank account has, like, at any given time, $50 in it because I live out of my brokerage. If I need money, I can get it tomorrow if I put in, as long as it's within operating hours. Whatever I need, I can get put over there tomorrow, and I have credit cards that can float me until then. There's no need for it. So the practicality here is another gem that I want to drop on you guys. If you are living on or moving towards a Bitcoin standard, now me personally, I don't make enough money to live on a Bitcoin standard fully. What we're trying to get to is where we can have a Michael Saylor-esque flywheel, and I will be able to live on that because I'll have the income and I'll have the flywheel of collateral to where I can keep that thing spinning, buy some income, buy a little Bitcoin in the process, and then repay back the loan. And then after the loan's paid back, do it all over again. Keep my expenses below what the income is. I run my brokerage. My financial situation is run exactly like a business, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So, the backdrop is tight supply, heavy Wall Street demand, and high volatility, which favors stacking on the dips and budgeting for big swings rather than trying to nail every pump, which is being fully invested. What do? We have tiers. When we were in the 90s, we were just buying. 10% went over into long-term portfolio. About 10% goes into Bitcoin spot. We just buy. When we dip below 80, we took an additional 10%. So that's 20% into amplified Bitcoin exposure, building out that long-term portfolio, specifically in our Bitcoin positions. And then we have the 10% that goes into spot Bitcoin. When we drop below 70, we took an additional 10% and bought some more amplified Bitcoin exposure. So that's 40% right there. If we would have dropped below 60, I would have taken another 10% and just gone low on the income portfolio and invested a little bit there and just started putting more into Bitcoin and amplified Bitcoin exposure specifically, because during dips, that's when you want to swing for the fences on Bitcoin, in my opinion. So, like, every 10K, we kick over a little bit more. It's looking pretty nice right now. I'm just gonna say, like, I'm not complaining about what we've built based on that. So now we'll get into some numbers. Key levels that we want to watch short term. The immediate resistance is between 72,200 and 72,800. Those are the immediate, which we've blown through that. So we've killed the immediate resistance. We blew through that today. The local sell wall is between 73.5 and 74K. Going back, let me pull up our Bitcoin chart. So as we can see, we're sitting at 73.9 right now. We're at the top edge of the sell wall off hours. Now, off hours, I've noticed that we've been having pumps off hours, and they'll sell into the morning. Right before market opens, it'll dip. So, like, it runs up overnight, pulls back going into the market opening. And they're saying that this local sell wall of 74,000 is a thick block of ass from prior highs. It has capped multiple pushes and needs real volume to crack. Now, we're sitting right at the edge of that sell wall. The next upside, once we break this sell wall, because what did we have the last episode? I said clearly, I was like, we've got to get through 72, because that was We needed to close above 72. We've closed above 72 twice. We closed above it the one day when it first happened last week. And then end of the week, we closed down below it, which we were a little bit below 70. It was like 68 or something like that. Then ran back up into this week. Next thing you know, we're touching 76, and then we're closing above 73. Because we closed above 70. We were it's like 74 today. We broke through the sale wall today and closed. And now we're back down to 73. The next upside is 74 to 75 and then 75 to 77. After we break through 77, we're going for above 79, starts validating the current bear flag view and invites a much bigger squeeze towards 90,000 to 97,000. So what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be buying in these ranges. Like, I'm not necessarily buying extra, but I'm fully invested. So we're keeping our stats there. But again, we still have loan money. I've got my last debt cycle. I got a good chunk of change coming that's going into the portfolio that's going to hit part of it's going to hit the long-term amplified Bitcoin exposure. We are going to make a large purchase. It's not going to be a large purchase. It's going to be a decent sized purchase. And then we're also going to buy some spot Bitcoin. Now, the greed in me kind of, sort of wants to send all of that money into the income portfolio. Or not the income portfolio, the long-term holding portfolio, to get additional amplified Bitcoin exposure. But I'm going to follow the thing that I lined out. I'm going to do that. That's what I'm doing. And we're going to be watching, because once we get above 80, the amplified Bitcoin exposure is going back down to 10%, and it might drop to as little as 5%, and we'll just buy more spot Bitcoin. Because the amplification, as long as I hit my minimum metrics, I'm not going to be swinging for the fences on that, because we'll be waiting for it to come running back down to turn those spigots on and adjusting those numbers. Now I want to talk about where the buys are hiding. So the first defense is $71,300. And then if we break below that, you're going to pivot to $70,700 to $71,000 even. If you lose that, you slide towards the high 69s, 69,000. So the short-term buy zones are in those spots. Those are the numbers that we're looking at. And if we have a deeper pullback, I bought all the way down to 60,000 and I just threw more money at it. So that's the way that I'm looking at it. I'm not waiting for any of these numbers, because as far as I'm concerned, I deal with what is in the week that I'm in, because Bitcoin changes every couple of weeks. But I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm only waiting for it to dip below 69,000 to buy. To me, that's crazy, but I'm also using Bitcoin as collateral. I'm not just buying it and having it sit there, with the exception of the Bitcoin that's in cold storage. But in general, it's building my collateral base regardless of what the price is. It also protects my loan, because I'm only taking a portion of it, but I also don't want to get liquidated, because that is a risk that you run if you're using even stocks as leverage. You go, oh, okay, well, now that we're here, if you have a hard drawdown, you can get liquidated. So me consistently adding to my stack of Bitcoin is defense for that, because I don't leverage to the hilt. I do not want to risk my Bitcoin in that fashion, especially since we're going to be using it to produce more income generation and to pay down debt. Like, I want to keep the tool available. It's not run it as hot as possible and then lose all your Bitcoin. That's crazy too. Because then, we didn't get the debt paid down. So if you're trying to maximize your buys, though, you don't want to you do not want to go aping into the 73.5 to 74,000 sell wall until we're clear of it. Now, if we close above 74 tomorrow, I might start aping again before we get to the next leg. But that sell wall is where the short-term trapped buyers in Bitcoin, because I say they're trapped buyers because they bought Bitcoin going, oh, number's going to go up, number went down, and now they're scared. So like a lot of them are just going, oh man, if I can just get out even, I'm just going to go back to buying gold ingots or whatever they were buying or investing in that wasn't performing as well as Bitcoin, because they don't have the time preference for it. They don't have a high time preference. They can't wait a long time. They're not looking 5 years down the road. They're not looking 3 years. They're probably not looking 12 months down the road. They're looking next Tuesday. Why didn't the number go up? Why am I not rich yet? So they're getting out and they're giving me their Bitcoin, and I'm happy about it because at that point I have won, you have lost. I am financially smart, and your piece of paper obviously didn't give you no common sense. So I win. It's great to live in a world where you don't have to be smart to be wealthy, because I'll take wealthy over smart any day. Any day of the week. I'd rather have more options than less options. I read at a collegiate level. I read pretty heavy books. Most people that I know that have those pieces of paper, they don't read anymore. You're not even learning. Like the last thing you learned was when you got right before you got your piece of paper. So you can have that. I'll be dumb. Keep being wealthier than you. Keep making more money and keep winning at the game that I was told I was never going to even be able to play in. Great. For DCA style, though, while you don't want to buy the sell wall, obviously, again, fully invested, I'm buying no matter what. You aim your fattest bids. You want to aim the big bids in the $69,000 to $70,000 range. And for those of you who buy on exchanges that give you the ability to like place, actually, most places that you buy now, if you're just doing cash, like I am, part of my paycheck just gets auto converted to Bitcoin. But you can have cash pools and just place buy orders and have them sit out there until the numbers hit those numbers. And then you just execute the buy order and it pulls the cash and buys for you. You want to do between 69 and 70,000 and 67 and $68,000 zones, with dream fills around 64 to 65,000. That way, if the market gets shaked out, you catch all those buys on the way down, and you don't have to worry about it. They're just there. Just keeping in mind, and this is the reason I'm buying now, is above $70,000 to $80,000, you're in the breakout chasing territory. We're going parabolic. I'm going to be posting rockets every day. I'm going to be beating my chest. I'll probably do extra episodes to laugh at people in their faces. I'll be showing the brokerage account because the brokerage account going to be going crazy. I'm going to be showing my income account because the income account going to be going crazy because I pivoted everything to Bitcoin focus when we was down in the 60s. And, I'm going to be sitting up there that saying I was right, that's when and then I'm not going to know what to do with any of the fully invested income that I'm going to be having coming in. So I'll probably just be buying Stretch and Bitcoin at that point, because I'm going to be confused. I'm not going to know what to do with my clicking finger, because normally it's easy for me to figure out what's on sale and what to buy. But when the market's running hot and we're in chasing territory, I do not feel comfortable doing anything because I'm not good at that. I'm good at people being blood in the streets. That's when I'm excited. Green in the streets, just gold paved roads, I'm worried at that point. So I'll probably be putting a lot into dry powder, STRC, which is what I consider my dry powder, and doing that stuff. So that's what we're going to do. That's what I've got for this episode. Now, I'm hoping that you guys really enjoyed this and you're getting some more value out of this. I do want to make this as value packed as possible. And while I'm not interested in the technical analysis, it is nice to talk about the numbers, so that way you kind of have some ideas. For me, the easy thing that I did was creating that tiered system based on $10,000 increments. Now above 80, I guess, is just standard dollar cost average for me. So like that's not a problem. But it's like when it starts dropping horrendously, I just add 10% to that 10% of the amplified Bitcoin exposure and run it from there. So that way I don't have to think about it. I'm not worried about specific numbers. It's just like, hey, if this drops below 70, I'm going to get additional. If it drops below 80, I'm buying additional. If it drops below 60, I'm buying additional. And then I'll just wait. I'll just sit on it and wait and just keep buying at that same veracity and wait. And that's what I do, so I don't have to look at these numbers, but I understand not everybody is going to be that vigilant. So there's some numbers. I hope it makes everybody feel better. I have divined the tea leaves for you. And yeah, so until next week, provided that we're not slam busy, this has been another crypto portfolio update. It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero. This is Future Financial Strategies. This episode was way longer than I thought it was going to be. I've got to go fix some noodles. I hope you guys have good dinners. Don't forget to eat. Don't forget to drink water. This will be coming to you in the morning. Don't forget your shake. I keep forgetting my protein shake in the morning. So don't forget your protein shake. Make sure you get some substance in you. Until next week, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and I'm out.
Money on my mind. Yeah. Focus, got no time for games. Nah, I don't play, man. I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.